This HD broadcast is brought to you by Argent Mortgage. Ask your mortgage broker about Argent or log on to argentloans.com.
It's the Deep South's oldest rivalry.
Began in 1892.
112 years of football.
Shug Jerk.
Vince Dooley.
1957 national champs.
1980 national champs.
Monk Gafford.
Frank Sinkwich.
Bo.
Herschel.
Two schools.
178 miles apart.
Two teams.
Linked with history
And heritage.
My name is Danny Ware.
Cadillac.
David Pollock.
Jason.
David Green.
Ronnie.
Thomas Davis.
Junior.
Craig Gibson.
It's Georgia
and Auburn.
For the 108th time.
Welcome you to the Home Depot SEC on CBS from Jordan Hare in Auburn, Alabama, the loveliest village on the plain. Anything but serene in anticipation of this afternoon. The eagle named Tiger is soaring, hoping to lead the Auburn Tigers on their traditional walk with hopes of an SEC championship, indeed a potential national crown at stake beginning this afternoon. Here's the reason for the attention. The once-beaten Georgia Bulldogs come to town to take on the undefeated Tigers of Auburn. Tickets, as they say, a little tough to come by. Emotions, as they say, off the chart. The smoke with wishes high. Here come the Tigers of Auburn. Right behind them, the Bulldogs of Georgia. Let me echo the expression of David Pollock. Wow. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Vern Lundquist, along with Todd Blackledge and Tracy Wolfson. If you relish the history of this sport and this series, consider this. Many are saying here, this is the most significant game to be played in this stadium in more than a generation. Here's why. Georgia, once beaten, only the blemish of a loss at home to Tennessee. If they can get some help, everything they hope to attain in preseason is still available, but only if they win this game. The Auburn Tigers, undefeated, are in the midst of a magical run. This yet could become a season for the ages. Everything is possible. An SEC crown, a potential national championship, but only if they win this game. Here's the context. Both teams, neither team can afford to lose, and one will. Todd, we've got a few things to discuss. What do you want to pick to highlight?
Well, what you have here today, you have two defensive football teams that are very physical, very stingy, both tough to score on or move the football. That's why I think the game comes down to a pair of senior quarterbacks. Auburn's Jason Campbell, Georgia's David Green. Both of them have been big-time winners throughout their career. both playing their best football in this, their final season on campus. The reason it comes down to them, as you take a look at their numbers, is because you can't run the football real well against these teams. Whoever makes the big plays, passing the football, plays over 20 yards, that team's going to have the best chance to win the game. Both quarterbacks, the key today.
Well, let's take the temperature on the sideline. Go down to the third member of our crew. Here's Tracy Wolfson.
Thanks, Vern. Both coaches are well aware of what's at stake today. As you mentioned, Auburn still has a lot ahead of them, but Tommy Tuberville knows that means nothing if they can't come away with a win. He told us yesterday that we can't hold anything back from this game. We must put all our eggs in one basket this week and focus solely on this one. As for Georgia, Mark Richt said this game will be defined and it will tell us how we will be remembered. He said it is hard to say what will happen, but if things work out, we could be remembered as one of the best. Vern?
All right, Tracy. 87,000 plus on hand. A terrific afternoon, 63 degrees. The forecast for continued cloudy skies, but no rain. These two teams met for the first time in 1892 in neutral Atlanta. The 108th meeting. Auburn leads the series. Last year in Athens, Georgia dominated in winning 26-7. An irony of the series is that the road team has the edge in the series in the other stadium. Auburn won the toss, elected to defer. That means that Philip Yost will kick off. Byron McClendon, Tyson Browning, deep for the Dogs. Ball blew off the tee, so we'll reload. Try it again and catch our play.
Yes. And right away we'll see one of the nation's stingiest defenses in Auburn, only giving up 9.7 points per game against one of the hottest offenses in college football over the last month, the Georgia Bulldogs.
Here's the kick from Yost. This will be Tyson Browning, 2 yards into the end zone. Takes a knee, and the Bulldogs of Georgia will open up at their own 20-yard line. The fifth-year senior David Green last week won his 40th game as a starter. That set a new NCAA record. He is a fifth-year senior, having a terrific season with 16 touchdown passes and 1 interception.
And if there's anybody you would want to come into this environment to lead your team, it's David Green. His record as a starter in opponent stadium, 15 wins, only 1 loss. That to LSU last September.
Thomas Brown and Jeremy Thomas are the starting backs. Brown is a true freshman. 130 yards last week. Here's Green to throw on first down. Goes deep right side. Into a flag caught by Sean Bailey, number 4.
Sean Bailey.
He's tackled by Junior Rose Green, likewise wearing number 4. The Georgia Bulldogs starting lineup presented by Cialis. Up front, Inman, Jones, Tanner, Max Gene Gillis, and Dennis Rowland. In the backfield, Thomas Brown and Jeremy Thomas, Reggie Brown, Fred Gibson, the wideouts, and the rage of Athens in the last 4 games, Leonard Pope at tight end, 5 touchdowns the last 4 games. Here's Green with the change. They hand it off,
nice.
Draw play, Thomas Brown.
Nice little misdirection play.
That's a first down at the 37-yard line, a game of 14. Tackle made by Antarius Williams.
When you have a fast defense like Auburn, you get them started going this way, and that's the way this action goes, and then Thomas Brown breaks it back the backside. Let that defense run, thinking the ball's going one way, and then stop and cut it back. Very well conceived play on the first running play for Georgia.
This time they'll line up in the I. Brown with 615 yards. He is a true freshman. And there's movement at the right tackle spot. Looked like that might be Dennis Rowland. Nope. It's Daniel Inman, number 72.
Dead ball. Ball start. Number 72. Offense.
This Georgia team went through a 3-game period when they had 33 penalties. That's the first of this one. Defensively for Auburn, Langenfeld, Jackson, Ratliff, and Brett Adams up front. Small linebackers. Gene Chizik, the coordinator, says they're midgets. The secondary, Montavis Pitts will be a target this afternoon. And there's the defensive stop made at the 33-yard line on Thomas Brown. Front 7 got there collectively.
Yeah, those linebackers, they may be midgets, but they're fast midgets, you know. I mean, that's the one thing. This defense lost some big-time players last year. Dontarius Thomas, Carlos Dansby, both in the NFL, were starting linebackers last year. These guys are smaller, but this overall defense might be faster when you consider all 11 positions.
3 wideouts on 2nd and 15. David Green will operate from the spread formation. Goes to his right, inside play, Bailey, no, it's Brown. Reggie Brown bounces off the first tackle, and Georgia converts 21 when they needed 15.
Yeah, you see the strength of Reggie Brown, and you see Nick Jones, the offensive guard, who's been one of the best players. Watch Nick Jones, number 70, get out there and lead this play. Number 70 gets the key block. Reggie Brown able to cut it inside, and at the end of the play, you see why Reggie Brown is pound for pound the strongest player on the Georgia football team.
That is the 43rd catch of the season for Reggie Brown. Fred Gibson on the other side has 42. Here's Green, settles for the short man. That's caught by Brown. Great block on Travis Williams from the tight end, Leonard Pope. Whoa.
Yeah. And a nice job by David Green changing up the snap count on that play, because Auburn wanted to bring pressure on that first down play, but it was a quick count by David Green, and Auburn was not into their blitz soon enough, and they were able to protect him for him to make the pass.
See that record that Todd alluded to, 15-1. That was a 17-10 defeat, and the winning touchdown came with less than 2 minutes to play at LSU last year. A first down on the last play with a gain of 11. Here's Pope coming to the near side. Handoff, Brown coming left. Good block by Reggie Brown. Thomas Brown, and Carlos Rogers makes the tackle. There's a flag.
Number 14, Carlos Rogers.
Reggie Brown a little slow getting up. He was one of the leading blockers down there. Excellent blocker downfield. I mean, Fred Gibson has improved as a blocker, but Reggie Brown is one of the best blocking wide receivers that I've seen in college football this year.
But picked up 6 yards.
Pick up the hanky. Thomas Brown, 5'8", 185. Reggie Brown will leave. Fred Gibson, Brian McClendon, and Sean Bailey are the wideouts now. Comes the corner blitz. Carlos Rogers, the tight end. Pope inside the 20.
Good quick read by David Green. And you know, part of the reason that he has that record in visiting stadiums is because he is so calm under pressure. Now, he knows the pressure's coming here. He doesn't panic at all. Watch him take the snap, pick up the pressure right away, and then know right now where he's going with the football before the guy gets to it. Pope, 6'7", a big target in the middle of the field, has really come on the last 5 games. And David Green found him there to beat the blitz.
Perfect start for David Green. He's 4 of 4. That also extends his streak of passes without an interception to 210 since he was last picked off. Here's the play fake at which he excels. Dances to his left. He'll run. That's not his strong point.
No, but it was a good decision. I mean, his mind is his strong point to go with that left arm, but that was a one-man route. Sean Bailey was the only receiver out, and Auburn had him covered. So David Green had nowhere to go with the football, and he chose to run and pick up a couple yards.
Remember last year when they had the inexperienced offensive line at Georgia, and David Green had 11 interceptions for the season to go with 13 touchdowns. He was also sacked 47 times last year. That number has been reduced to 13 for the team, 11 for him. Second down. Handed off to Brown, coming left. Great play. Carlos Rogers. Beautiful.
Now, everybody knows about Carlos Rogers in the SEC in terms of being a cover corner. Maybe one of the best in the country. But now he shows you his toughness at 6'1", 200 pounds, coming up to make a tackle on the perimeter. No hesitation at all by the senior from Augusta.
This is the first third down of this drive, which began at the 20.
One of the real interesting things about this rivalry, Carlos Rogers, who just made that play, one of 31 Auburn players from the state of Georgia. This game means a lot to a lot of guys.
Play clock winds down. David Green calls time.
First time out.
Clock is stopped with 10:42 to go. Opening quarter. Opening drive. No scores. 3rd and 11. Gibson, McClendon break wide right. Brown is to the left. That's Reggie Brown in motion. Auburn is not blitzing. They send 4. There's a flag down.
There's a flag.
Going to back Georgia up 5 more, I think.
Dead ball. Ball start. Number 81.
This might change the play call as well. 3rd and 11.
Down.
Now 3rd and 16. You got to call a little deeper routes if you want to try to convert here.
Here's a footnote to emphasize how good this Auburn defense has been. On plays of 3rd and 11 or more this year, they have given up first downs on 3 of 36. They're pretty good when it's 3rd and long.
And they've got 2 very young, very aggressive and quick defensive ends that are in the ballgame to rush the passer right now.
Draw play. Brown sprints up the middle. Hit and driven down by Travis Williams, the middle linebacker, and Karibi Dede, number 21.
Hit first by number.
That'll bring on the field goal unit.
I like the call by Mark Richt because you want to score first. You don't want to take a chance of getting sacked and being out of field goal range for Andy Bailey. And even though they didn't convert, if they get 3 points here, this was a huge drive for Georgia because it sent a message to all these fans and to this Auburn football team. The Bulldogs have come to play today.
Andy Bailey, 13 of 18, as you see. This is from 36 yards. Snap a little high, kick a little low.
Little low. Well, maybe all the Bulldogs save one have come to play today. That was ugly.
Ryan Jordan snapped it. It was a little high. The kick, as we said, looked like a chip shot.
Every little thing counts. Little high, but he got it down. But that kick, man. Wow.
It was ugly. Andy Bailey missed from 36. I don't know if he's thinking about it, but I'm sure some Georgia fans are. He missed from 29 in that 5-point defeat to Tennessee at home earlier this season, the only defeat for Georgia this year. Jason Campbell, play fake, flips it out left side. This is Ronnie Brown. There goes Ronnie Brown. What a way to start for Auburn.
Yes, sir. Great way to start for Jason Campbell, too. Drop back, flip it out to your left. Ronnie Brown's in the fullback position. He's going to swing out. Very short, easy pass. And then Ronnie Brown does the best. And the rest. Now, with these running backs, they throw the ball out to them so they can get it out in space, so they don't have to run against defensive tackles and linebackers. Let them go out there and work against defensive backs where they have the edge.
That's a gain of 36, a first down at the 45. Here's Carnell Williams. Man called Cadillac.
Number 24.
Thomas Davis, number 10, back after a week and a half off with a knee injury. Here's Jason Campbell, 5th-year senior. He has really blossomed in this, his final year.
Yeah, Al Borges, the new offensive coordinator, came to Auburn from Indiana University last year and has really made a difference. And you know, he doesn't take all the credit for Jason Campbell, but he says the one thing I have done is I've loosened him up a little bit to where he's not afraid to make mistakes. He's got a let-it-rip attitude, and he's played that way all year.
Toss, they come to the near side. Cadillac Williams, Greg Blue hits him, but not before he's inside the 30-yard line. A gain of 15 before the tackle by number 17.
Auburn likes to throw a lot of things at you early, and you see all the attention paid to Ronnie Brown. He was the fullback. The fake was to Ronnie Brown. The Georgia defense jumped on that, and that left Carnell Williams open on the outside for a big run.
This season, 880 yards because he has split playing time with Ronnie Brown. Not that high, prominently mentioned for Heisman Trophy awards, anything like that, but what a quality season they have. And here's Cadillac Williams following the lead of Ronnie Brown. That's back to the 25-yard line. Let's check this Auburn offense. Up front, Marcus McNeil, Ben Grubbs, Jeremy Ingle missed the game 2 weeks ago at Ole Miss with an injury. Danny Lindsay and Troy Reddick. Carnell Williams, they list Jake Slaughter, but he's not really a starter. Aroma Shadu, Courtney Taylor, Cooper Wallace, the rest of them.
Now you got Ronnie Brown in a slot position as a wide receiver. His versatility, here he is right here. That's the key to what Auburn can do offensively.
Play fake, here's Campbell running. Campbell, they're going to try and run him 8 to 10 times today. And there's the first of the designed runs for Jason Campbell.
Yeah. And the key was, again, Ronnie Brown in a different position. He's right here. He's going to come and lead out here. Campbell's going to fake to Carnell and keep it himself. I mean, it's a design quarterback keep. You got the backs crisscrossing, and it fooled up the Georgia defense. Not used to seeing Jason Campbell run on the season. 31 running attempts, a net of minus 47 yards rushing. He has not been a threat coming into the game.
That was a game of 13. Here's the toss to Williams, left. Aroma Shadu with another downfield block. And this one is going to be down near the goal line. DeMario Minter.
And Ronnie Brown was leading that play and blocked on Greg Blue and drove him all the way to the sideline. You don't think these two guys like playing in the same backfield together. Ronnie Brown, number 23, blocking right there on Greg Blue, and is going to just drive one of the best tacklers in the SEC completely out of the picture. Ronnie Brown blocking, Carnell Williams running.
Now Jake Slaughter is in at fullback. It's Williams as the deep back in the arm. He gets the handoff. He is stacked up at the 1. Odell Thurman, number 33, with the tackle. Here's a footnote again. This is the opening drive in the 10th game for Auburn, and it's going to hold true. They have yet to punt on an opening drive. They've scored on 7 and had 2 fumbles in the other 2.
Yeah, and those 2 fumbles both came in their opponent's red zone. So they drove the ball every one of their opening possessions, scored 7 of the 9, right on the doorstep right now.
Slaughter to the right, number 44. That's Courtney Taylor in motion. Here's the option play. Campbell pitches. Carnell Williams strolls in for 6. For the 8th time in 10 games, Tommy Tuberville finds reason to applaud his team. They've opened their possession with a score.
And a couple new looks from this Auburn offense. They've had the week off, extra time to prepare for Georgia's defense, and they threw a couple new wrinkles at them in that first possession.
John Vaughn for the extra point. He had a miss earlier this season against Arkansas that ended a streak, a team streak of 206 consecutive. He gets this one. Cadillac Williams gets the touchdown. The Auburn Tigers take the lead. Nifty decision by Jason Campbell. 7-0. Carnell Cadillac Williams from Atala, Alabama. That last touchdown, his 43rd career TD. Ties an Auburn record held by one of their 2 Heisman fellas, Bo Jackson.
Well, just a great blend of plays in that opening drive and 2 runs by Jason Campbell that really fooled the Georgia defense. I mean, Tommy Tuberville told us yesterday, we're going to run him. We haven't run him yet. We don't think they'll be ready for it, and they weren't.
For the 2nd time, Philip Yost will kick off. Tyson Browning, McClendon are the deep men. And this will be Browning at the goal line. He'll bring it out from the yard in. Tackle just short of the 20-yard line.
Go back and take a look at the touchdown on the option. It starts with a double team right here on David Pollock. Now Arnold Harrison is going to have the quarterback, but nobody is going to be there for the pitch man, Carnell Williams. You see Harrison defends the quarterback, but Minter and Blue were both blocked on the perimeter. Nobody able to get out on Carnell Williams. They weren't expecting the option, and the option burned him for the touchdown.
Williams with 33 yards on 6 carries. First down and 10. David Green from the spread. Right side again. Fine tackle by Montavis Pitts. Let's go back to the studio for a Pontiac game-changing performance. Here's Tim Brando.
Maybe season-changing, Vern. Texas a remarkable comeback after a 4th and 18 conversion by Vince Young. Here he goes 22 yards to Tony Jeffrey. Texas survives, but the narrow escape could help Utah, the fly in the ointment, in the BCS.
What are we, week 20? That fly hasn't grown and hasn't changed, has it? Fly's been Utah since September 1st.
The fly likes to drink ointment.
David Green, perfect 5 of 5. Diving try by Sean Bailey, and he makes the catch near the 30-yard line.
One of the things for David Green right now that's apparent is he's been hot the last 4 weeks. They've run the ball well. They found a new weapon in the tight end, and David Green is very much a rhythm passer. They do a lot of stuff off play action, and he likes to fake, set up quick, and throw the ball on time, on rhythm. If Auburn wants to disrupt that, they're going to have to find ways to bring some pressure on him, because if they just let him have time to throw it when he wants, he'll continue to put up good numbers in this ball game.
Under 5 to play, opening quarter. Second possession now for the Bulldogs of Georgia. They go from the eye. There's a handoff up the middle.
Number 20, Thomas Brown at center.
Thomas Brown, the young man out of Watkinsville, or rather Tucker, Georgia, near the Atlanta area.
After a 4-yard gain.
It'll be 2nd down and 6.
I talked to Mike Bobo, the quarterback coach for Georgia, on the field before the game, and talking to him about Danny Ware. They said we're going to see during warm-ups. We haven't seen him yet. They said, you know what, Thomas Brown, he's a strong kid. Next to Reggie Brown, pound for pound, he's the strongest guy on this team, and he's a freshman, so he doesn't know he's supposed to get tired in a game like this.
Here's Green under trouble. They got him.
Yep.
And Terrace Williams, that's only the 12th time this year, all year, that David Green has gone down. But he goes down in the face of the leading sack team in the SEC.
And credit safety Will Herring for disrupting this play, because this is a corner blitz, and Reggie Brown thinks he's going to be open, but Will Herring comes over and defends him, and David Green not able to go there with the football. See, he knows the corner blitz is coming, but Herring was there for coverage, and Green had nowhere to go with the football.
3rd and 10. Blitz. Here comes Travis Williams. It's incomplete for Fred Gibson. And credit Travis Williams, the middle linebacker.
Yeah, David Green kind of short-armed that one. He threw that one as he was backing up, and that's what you have to do to David Green. You've got to get him out of his rhythm. You can't allow him to just throw under rhythm. Here's Travis Williams. Watch him on the blitz. Unblocked. David Green backing up as he throws. Not able to step into that one and make the accurate throw.
That brings on Gordon Ely Kelso for the first time. Brian Jordan will snap it back, and Carnell Williams back to return it. He awaits the punt at the 30-yard line.
And always dangerous. I mean, Carnell Williams, one of the best open field runners in college football. If he gets his hands on it, he can make things happen.
Here's Kelso's kick. Good downfield coverage, but Williams avoids the tackle of Brian Jordan, and here he goes. It's the punter who popped him. Jordan missed the tackle, and he had a clean shot at him.
He had a clean shot on him, but Carnell Williams is no average punt returner. Again, he's one of the best running backs in the country. So he's used to breaking tackles. He's used to guys not wrapping up and him keeping going forward for positive yards. Very, very dangerous punt returner is Carnell Williams.
That exemplifies the outstanding nature of the special teams for Auburn as well. 28-yard punt return on a 38-yard punt. Williams and Brown again in the I formation. Ronnie Brown is in that unusual stance, and here's Campbell rolling out. Pressured, fires, Obamanu tipped away by Thomas Davis. Take a look at this. Net punting for Auburn, first in the SEC. Second, punt returns, kickoff returns, field goal percentage.
Eddie Grand is the special teams coach. He's also the running back coach for Auburn, and he says one of the reasons we're so good at it is because Tommy Tuberville gives us a ton of time to work on special teams. He really emphasizes it. He gives them extra practice time, and they are very solid in their kicking game. And it doesn't hurt to have a guy like Carnell Williams as your punt returner either.
High formation again. Quick setup, right side, Courtney Taylor, tackle cleanly made by Tim Jennings. And let's take time to introduce you to this Georgia defensive unit under Brian Van Gorder. The defensive line, Thompson, Golston, Anderson, and the All-American David Pollock. Career leader in sacks with 31 for Georgia. Linebackers are Harrison Thurman and Danny Verdon Wheeler. And in the secondary, Thomas Davis is back. Missed a game and a half with a knee injury. Injured against Florida. Third down. Gamble, here comes Pollock. He almost got there. Aromashadu can't hang on. And I don't know, David Pollock and Odell Thurman were very, very close to Campbell.
So Odell Thurman hit Campbell on the first down play and knocked him down. They got pressure this time, and that was a huge third down stop. Odell Thurman blitzing a couple times. And again, now we see Jason Campbell not able to throw by setting his feet, backing up, trying to throw and avoid the pressure, and a little bit behind Aromashadu on the throw.
That does bring on Cody Bliss.
This is new, huh?
A punt in the first half for him, and in the last 6 games. Here's the nice high punt by Bliss. See if they can stop that. Rogers is down there, and he gets some help.
Beautiful. Beautiful job by everybody involved. Cody Bliss with the high kick. Carlos Rogers, the first guy down there, knew exactly where the end zone was and kind of blocked it off. And then Cooper Wallace touching it down inside the 5. Great special teams play again for Auburn.
By design, Mark Richt substitutes at quarterback at least one series in each half. That is his intention. Little surprised he's doing so here. DJ Shockley replaces David Green. This is not an injury change.
Right.
This is by design, but it comes with the Bulldogs at their 4-yard line.
Yeah, and the thing, though, is that DJ Shockley, it's not like he's a freshman quarterback and you're putting him in inside the 5. DJ Shockley's a junior. He's played in a lot of big ball games, intense moments for Georgia. So this is not overwhelming for him.
Hand off to Thomas Brown. Gets 3, perhaps 4. Now DJ Shockley in that romp over Kentucky last week did have really nice numbers.
Yeah, he played very well and threw a couple touchdown passes, both of them to Sean Bailey. And then what he brings to the table is his running ability. He also rushed 4 times for 62 yards in the game. So he is capable of throwing a little different challenge to this fast and aggressive Auburn defense because of his ability to run the football as well as throw it.
Has played in all but 1 game this year. There's the handoff again. Brown tackled down near the ankles at the 10-yard line by Brett Edens, number 94. Brett Edens, whose father, Liston Edens, was the captain of this Auburn team back in the 70s. His full name is Jordan Brett Edens. His dad, Liston, played for Shug Jordan, the legendary coach, and Edens out with an injury.
It's a big third down play for DJ Shockley right now because you've got bad field position. You want to try to convert here, but you don't want to do anything dangerous against this Auburn defense.
Play fake. Shockley will throw. Lobs it out. He's got his tight end. Out to the 41. It was a beauty.
That was a beautiful throw, but credit that offensive line with giving DJ Shockley outstanding protection. High formation, 1 wide receiver. They're going to fake the play action, and Pope is going to run the corner route on Donnie Young. Watch the protection unfold on this. Shockley, lots of time to find his tight end. Leonard Pope, and again, he has really opened up this Georgia offense because of his threat in the middle of the field.
That's a gain of 29 on 3rd and 2 as Georgia takes a shot. 1st down and 10. Here comes the blitz. Shockley cuts inside to the 43-yard line. Josh Thompson, number 97, backup defensive tackle.
I think we're seeing a little bit more of what Gene Chizik, the defensive coordinator, hinted to us yesterday, that they needed to bring more blitz, more pressure on early downs. Primarily with David Green, but that time Will Herring, the safety, blitzed on first down, and Shockley stopped for a short gain.
We've reached the end of one with our score, Auburn 7, Georgia nothing. We'll return to Jordan-Hare Stadium after this message and a word from your local station.
Fasten your seatbelt. Match Mr. Incredible.
Ronnie Brown, Cadillac Williams have helped lead the way to this 9-0 undefeated season thus far for the Auburn Tigers. Right now, Georgia trying to get back to an even score as we open the second quarter. Vern Lundquist, Todd Blackledge, Tracy Wolfson. It's second down for the Georgia Bulldogs. DJ Shockley still in at quarterback.
Blitz, Carlos Rogers coming off the slot.
Hand off to Thomas Brown. And he squirts through the right side. That'll leave a third down coming up. Well, opening moments of the second quarter, let's try to remember that this is going to be a game of missed opportunities as well as made. We've had the missed field goal by Georgia, the missed opportunity on the punt return by Auburn.
And I think the field goal is a worse missed opportunity because Georgia offensively did everything they wanted to do except score in that first quarter. 121 yards, 10 minutes of possession time, but they trail 7-0. And that missed field goal really was devastating for them in a game where scoring may be at a premium.
3rd and 4. Here's Shockley. Here comes the blitz. Shockley avoids the tackle. Puts it up and incomplete. And Terrius Williams had the pressure on DJ Shockley. It'll be 4th down.
Well, DJ Shockley does have the ability to escape and make people miss. But Auburn very fast. That's Stanley McGlover, one of those young defensive ends, chasing him to the sideline and forcing the throwaway.
Ely Kelso on for the second time, and Carnell Williams, who had a 28-yard punt return last time out, is perched at the 10-yard line.
But thanks to that big throw to Leonard Pope, DJ Shockley did reverse field position. He did flip it, and now with a good punt here, they should be able to pin Auburn back.
Jordan snap. And a fair catch called by he slipped off his knee right out of bounds at the 9-yard line.
Excellent punt. Pinned Carnell on the sidelines. And now you make Auburn go on the long field against the Georgia defense. Last time he fielded the punt in the middle of the field, he broke a tackle and he ran for a long way. This time, had a hard time handling it.
Like the verb.
Well, they're at San Jose State.
Yeah.
I don't know how much.
Well, and I don't think they're a fly. I think they're a gnat. Now, Utah is a fly, one of those big fat flies. Right. Boise State, they're a good team, but they're a gnat. They're not at that same level as Utah is in threatening the BCS.
Are you a picker of nits?
A what?
A picker of nits. A nitpicker. First down, just think about it. Time now for the Home Depot coach's decision. It's all yours, Lawrence.
Well, it's really two-part. Number one, Tommy Tuberville hired Al Borges as his offensive coordinator. Then Al find a way to get Ronnie Brown and Carnell Williams on the field and use them effectively. And it's really Ronnie Brown's versatility, lining up as a fullback, blocking. He's got excellent hands. He's learned how to become a good blocker for Carnell Williams, and then, of course, he can run the football. Averages over 7 yards per carry, but it's his versatility and their ability to move him in a lot of different spots that has really opened up this Auburn offense.
2nd down and 7. Brown and Williams both in the backfield. Here's the fake draw play. They flip it out, and they use Ronnie Brown out of the passing game again. He may have the best hands of anybody on the team.
He has outstanding hands. And so far now today, he's lined up as the tailback 1 time, the fullback 5 times, and there he is right there as a fullback, and 4 times as a wide receiver. You fake to Carnell, and then you flip it out to him quick, and it's just like a running play. See, he's got a guard out in front of him, and he's out there in space running against defensive backs. That's Al Borges, the offensive coordinator, has done. It's one thing to put those 2 guys on the field at the same time. It's another way to figure out a way to make it productive and effective. Al Borges has done that.
Now Carl Stewart is the man in motion as Cadillac Williams gets a rest. They slip it. Up close, Ronnie Brown. Al Borges, last 2 years at Indiana, but he came here with a heck of a reputation as an offensive coordinator, primarily achieved at UCLA, where he was part of a 20-game win streak. He's a fascinating guy. He said his first visit ever to Auburn came when he was coaching at UCLA. They were going to play Alabama in the season opener. Yep. He made a trip back to Auburn to talk to Noel Mazzone, Hugh Nall. Well, how do you beat Alabama? They told him.
Yeah. Well, he tried to. They're sitting there scratching their heads, saying, "If we want to learn about Alabama, who should we go to?" And they said, well, "Auburn will tell you anything you want to know. If you want to learn how to beat Alabama."
Here's the flip to the tight end, Cooper Wallace, number 8. It's going to bring up a third down and give us a chance to go back to New York once again. Here's Tim.
Fellas, in the human polls, unbeaten Wisconsin is 43 points behind California, 128 points behind number 3 Auburn in the BCS standings. Matt Bernstein has tied it up 14 all. That's the Big Ten unbeaten Wisconsin.
All right, and the human polls are 2/3 of the process for the BCS. 3rd and 8.
Big third down play here. One of the reasons they've been able to keep pressure off Jason Campbell, a lot of bunch sets. That's what they're in right now.
3-man rush. Campbell stands strong and gets rid of it. Demario Minner misses. How about the second missed tackle? And Ronnie Brown will not get the first down, but give him a heck of a pat on the back for the effort.
And good job by Georgia generating some pressure on Jason Campbell on the third down play. They only rushed 3, but they were able to get pressure from Quentin Moses, number 94. Watch him get around McNeil, their best offensive lineman, and force the dump off to Ronnie Brown. That's good pressure from a 3-man rush on third down for Georgia.
That brings on Cody Bliss for the second time today. Thomas Flowers, who had a 74-yarder last week, and he eased up toward the end of it, was caught from behind and did not score. Here's Bliss. Oh, it's blocked. David Pollock, I believe, and if so, it's his second block of the year.
And I don't understand why Cody Bliss did this little takeoff and run thing.
There is a flag.
There's a flag down.
Well, I don't think it's going to change the outcome of the play. It might be at the end of the play. But Cody Bliss took off towards David Pollock's side before he kicked the ball, and he actually punted it right into David Pollock.
Pollock had a punt block in the first game against Georgia Southern.
Dead ball. Personal foul. It's the receiving team. It is a dead ball. They did not make the line to gain. We'll go 15 yards from the spot. First down.
Yeah, it's still Georgia's ball. They just won't have as good a field position. But watch, Cody Bliss is going to take off and actually run closer to David Pollock. I don't know if that was by design or if he thought he was going to get pressure, but he actually moved from his original spot and made it easier for David Pollock to block that punt. And then here's the end of the play as Will Herring to the sideline. I don't know. I guess they called a late hit. Boy.
Pollock attempting to become a 3-time All-American and to join Herschel Walker on this for the Bulldogs. CBS Sports coverage of the Home Depot SEC will continue after this word from your local station.
Join the original cast for a Dallas reunion special, CBS Tonight.
Championship trophy is here. Auburn, if they win today, win against Alabama, win in the SEC, a tough trio of games, might have a chance to play for that trophy. In the meantime, here's David Green back in. Left side. Man open, it's Reggie Brown. Carlos Rogers knocks him out of bounds. Let's go back and revisit the block punt, the first this year for the Auburn Tigers.
Well, first of all, here's David Pollock right here. Now, this isn't that unusual for a punter to go this way, but watch Jay Ratliff, who's going to block David Pollock. He's just going to miss him. He's a defensive lineman, not an offensive lineman, not used to blocking a guy as quick off the ball or as relentless as David Pollock. And Pollock just ran by Jay Ratliff and got his hands on the football. I think it was designed for the punter to go that way, but they just didn't account for David Pollock very well.
David Green, hand off to Thomas Brown. Tests the middle inside the 25 to the 24-yard line, where he runs into Travis Williams, number 51.
And that blocked punt is the same effectiveness as a turnover because it flips field position, it gives Georgia momentum, it takes a little bit of the steam out of this Auburn crowd, but now very important for David Green and the Georgia offense to cash in with some form of scoring, some points on the scoreboard.
Second down, 8. Brown left, Gibson wide right. Play fake. They go deep for Brown. Carlos Rogers for the interception. That's only the second interception of David Green this year. It'll come out to the 20.
Against an average cornerback, this is a touchdown, or at the very least, an incompletion. But Carlos Rogers is not an average cornerback. Reggie Brown is going to go to the post. This is Carlos Rogers, and even though he's beat momentarily, his range and his speed is able to make up the ground on this short throw and make the interception. Carlos Rogers able to recover and then get to the football and make the catch.
Well, the streak without an interception comes to an end at 215. Second pick off Green this year.
And all David Green did was he babied that one a little bit too much. He thought he wanted to just guide it in there for the touchdown, and he underthrew it a little bit, and Rogers was able to make the play.
Timeout called, Auburn.
Right now, I'm telling you, David Green is saying, I just got to throw that thing. You know, don't pull the string on that. Go ahead and throw it. The guy made a great play on him, though.
For tickets to the coach's luncheon, log on.
7-0 Auburn here as Carlos Rogers, number 14, snuffed out a Georgia scoring drive with his second interception of the season. And we talked to Carlos yesterday, and he told us a couple of the former players called him that are in the NFL and said, hey, this is a game you can make some money on. And what he meant by that is, this is a game, he's not been challenged much this year. They've gone at the other corner, but with two excellent wideouts from Georgia, he knew he'd get challenged today, and he was going to have to be up for the challenge. He was up for it on that play.
7 career interceptions now for Rogers. That one goes into the memory bank. First down and 10. Campbell gives it off to Ronnie Brown.
Number 23.
Ronnie Brown tackled by Odell Thurman, number 33.
Number 33, Odell Thurman.
Well, Auburn comes in to today's game as the 3rd ranked team in the BCS standings, topped by USC and Oklahoma. And of course, they've got a heck of a trio of games now. At Alabama next week, SEC championship game. I think for teams who potentially have a path to the championship game, theirs is the toughest.
Absolutely. First of all, next week Alabama is no picnic in any year.
Right. Here's Brown. There goes Brown. Breaks another tackle. Pollock and Blue catch up with him, but not until he gets a 17-yard credit.
Well, what a job by Cooper Wallace blocking on David Pollock. Cooper Wallace one-on-one handled David Pollock, and that secured the corner for Ronnie Brown. And nobody there in a white shirt until he got to the safety. Watch Cooper Wallace just turn Pollock inside and seal the corner for Ronnie Brown. That's excellent blocking by the tight end.
10 carries, 42 yards for Ronnie Brown. First down and 10 after that pickup of 17. Play fake. Here's Campbell. Settles short. Cadillac Williams puts it on his hip.
Campbell's pass complete to Carnell Williams. Run out by number 42.
Well, if you go back to the preseason ratings, USC number 1, Oklahoma number 2. These are the human polls, obviously. Auburn started out in the coaches poll at 18 and the AP 17. California and Wisconsin also came from some distance.
And you know what? That's one of the reasons why I stopped being an AP voter, because I didn't like preseason polls. I think they're worthless. I really think it's all based on what they did the year before. I don't think they should have any polls until the first weekend of October. Let them play the month of September and then start determining who the real contenders are.
2nd down and 3. Cadillac Williams coming left.
Carnell Williams at left
to the 44-yard line.
Georgia 44.
Well, we've waited a week for this. Here comes the duck. It's time for the
Aflac
trivia question. Since 1970, which teams had the lowest preseason ranking and went on to win a national championship? Give you some time to think about that. Not an easy one.
No.
1st down, Auburn. They lead it by 7. Cadillac Williams got the touchdown, the opening Auburn drive of the game. And here's Jason Campbell. Carl Stewart is the running back. He gets the handoff, and the freshman picks up maybe a yard to the 43-yard line. Let's go back to New York and check in with Tim.
Tom, the mighty Canes have not lost 3 in a row since '99. They're taking on Virginia and Charlottesville. Marcus Hagens to what some believe is the best tight end in the country. Heath Miller, wonderful catch to tie the game at 7. If the Wahoos win, they control their destiny for an ACC automatic BCS bid.
2nd and 9.
All right, Tim, thank you. 7-0 here with 7.5 to go before the break. It's 2nd down and 9. Brown and Carnell Williams. That's Ronnie Brown out of the stance in motion wide to the right, where he will set up as a flanker. Jason Campbell back, screen pass. Danny Verdon Wheeler read it, but didn't make his move very quickly.
Wow, that's respect for Carnell Williams too, because you don't want him to leave you there and juke you out. But he could have blown that play up because he read it, he was there, he knew it was going to come to Carnell, but he hesitated for a moment, and Carnell was able to pick up a couple yards because of it. Big play right here now for Georgia.
3rd and 6.
David Pollock not on the field right now for Georgia, their best pass rusher, getting a little breather on the Georgia sideline.
Bulldogs with 3 men down. Thomas Davis is up on the line. He's coming. Campbell settles short for Ronnie Brown. They've got the 1st down at the 30-yard line.
1st down to number 23, Ronnie Brown.
Campbell seems so cool.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he's playing with great poise this year, very comfortable. Because of formation and motion and personnel, teams have not been able to get very much pressure on him. And so he's been able to play in a real comfort zone. And then when you got guys like Carnell and Ronnie Brown to either hand it to or throw it to, it makes your job a lot easier as well.
Jason Campbell now 8 of 10 for 74 yards. And a 1st down and 10 at the 30-yard line. Wallace, the tight end, comes to the left. Here's the toss. Ronnie Brown doesn't get much blocking help.
Number 23, Ronnie Brown at left end.
Well, Jason Campbell, it's time now for the Argent Mortgage quarterback comparison.
Well, Matt Leinart, the quarterback at USC, Jason White, the quarterback at Oklahoma, the 2 teams ranked above Auburn. And Jason Campbell's numbers right up there with those guys, all 3 having outstanding seasons. No question about that.
All 3 semifinalists for this year's Davey O'Brien Award. And outstanding quarterback of the year, as well as being on anybody's list of top 10 for the Heisman, I would think. 2nd down and 9. Here's the toss. Carnell Williams wants to throw, and he's got the tight end, Anthony Mix. Anthony Mix, touchdown.
They got Thomas Davis, I think, on that play.
Sell it, sell it, sell it, throw it. We've seen a couple of occasions this year where the aggressiveness of Thomas Davis has proven costly.
And he hasn't played for 6 quarters before today. He's been out with the ankle and knee injury that he had in the Florida game, and that time they picked on him.
Vaughn with the extra point, up and good. 29-yard pass. Carnell, Cadillac Williams mixed it up.
Beautiful play call by Al Borges, perfectly executed by Carnell Williams. These two running backs for Auburn and Jason Campbell, they are getting it done today.
Auburn Tigers trying to extend the undefeated rank to 10. They're up by 14. Carnell Williams thought about going to the NFL, decided to come back for his senior year, in large part because Tommy Tuberville was retained as the head coach. He and Ronnie Brown talked about it. He's just thrown the first touchdown pass of his career. And that completes an 80-yard drive in 9 plays. Anthony Mix on the receiving end. Philip Yost will kick off. Browning and McClendon are deep. This one is nailed. Touchback. Thursday on CBS. Don't miss the Survivor Challenge that will have you tied up in knots and see if the women continue to dominate the men. It's a new episode of America's most watched reality show, Survivor, Thursday at 8, 7 Central on CBS. David Green back in at quarterback. 5 years ago today, David Green and Jason Campbell were on a recruiting trip for the Georgia campus in Athens. They watched the Georgia-Auburn game. Green wound up committing to Athens. It was 45 minutes from home. Campbell, of course, committed to Auburn. Now they settle an issue in this, their 5th season. And there is Carlos Rogers, another of those who decided not to go to the NFL.
Let's take another look. I want you to watch 2 things. Number 1, watch Thomas Davis, how quickly he reacts. And then watch Anthony Mix, how patient he is before he releases in the pattern. He doesn't give it away too soon. Davis reacts too fast. Mix is patient, and he's able to slip out wide open for Carnell Williams to hit him. Again, Thomas Davis out with the knee and ankle injury since the Florida game. Very aggressive player.
Green, play fake, goes deep, dropped. Fred Gibson.
Well, that was a tough one because that was tipped in there by Travis Williams. And number 51 got his hands on the ball first, and Gibson tried to catch it off the deflection, not able to do it. And another 3rd down and long for Georgia. Watch Travis Williams, 51, get his hand on it, knock it up in the air, and then Gibson almost came down with it after the deflection.
3rd and 8.
Pressure look.
Out. Yep.
They're showing pressure off the edge.
Here comes the blitz. Green bobbled it. Stanley McClever got to him. That'll go as a sack. It's 4th down.
And now for McClever, that's his 7.5 sack. Inside pass rush. He's a defensive end, and he's going to come inside. Number 75, and nobody picked him up. They picked up the 2 outside blitzers, the safety and the linebacker, but nobody picked up the defensive end.
David Green was sacked 5 times by Tennessee in their lone loss of the year. That's the 2nd sack of David Green by the Tigers here in the first half. 4th and 18. Ely Kelso will punt it away to Carnell Williams. Williams at the 43. Lot of room. Reggie Brown.
Good coverage by Reggie Brown.
Carnell Williams on a 4-yard return from the 43 to the 46.
Gene Chizik, defensive coordinator here. They have improved their sack numbers every year.
Well, I think the biggest thing that has helped them this year is they've got 2 older guys, seniors, that start at defensive end, Langenfeld and Edens. But then they've got the young guys that come in, McGlover and Quentin Groves, that are leading the team in sacks. That's Gene Chizik in the white shirt in the middle.
Only 6-man line of scrimmage.
Penalties 5 yards, 4th down.
Georgia only had 6 men on the line of scrimmage, and this is a good decision. Make him kick it again and try to let Carnell Williams run the ball back. Again, Gene Chizik was a defensive coordinator at Central Florida, actually took the place of Brian Van Gorder, who was the coordinator there. And he helped Al Borges prepare for this Georgia defense more than anybody because he's very familiar with Brian Van Gorder's defensive system.
Ely Kelso backed up in the end zone. Williams has moved up near midfield. And the noise level has gone up as well. Then it quiets. Williams at the 47. Goes by Thurman. Goes by Verdun Wheeler. Cuts inside the 40 and is down to the 38.
To the Georgia 38.
Time now to answer the trivia question of the week.
Stop on the play made for number 59.
Here comes the duck. And the question, since 70, which teams had the lowest preseason ranking and went on to win a national championship? The answer is, there are 3 of them. Clemson in 81, Miami in 83, Brigham Young in 84, all 3 unranked.
First and 10, Auburn at the 38.
First down and 10. 14-0 with 3:11 to go. That's Williams in motion. Ronnie Brown stays in that squat position. Play fake. Campbell got his tight end, Cooper Wallace. First down to the 17.
Boy, what a nice job by Jason Campbell. David Pollock bearing down on him. He knew he was going to get hit, and he made a big-time throw under pressure. He spread the ball around. Cooper Wallace is just going to run the seam, but watch Jason Campbell know he's going to get hit from Pollock and just not flinch. Stay right in there and deliver the football to Wallace in between the linebacker and the safety, and another big conversion for Auburn.
2:45 to go before the break. Jake Slaughter's in. Here's the toss with Slaughter leading the way. Ronnie Brown is cut down by Odell Thurman up on top and Thomas Davis down below.
Stop made by number 10, Thomas Davis, and number 33, Odell Thurman.
Well, Auburn, you remember last year, they were preseason picks by some as number 1, lost 2, then fell out of favor. So they were not highly regarded to begin this year. Here's some of the others who've come from way back. Oklahoma in 2000. Tommy Tuberville, November 20th last year, the infamous plane trip. Here's the reverse, left side. Good job of staying home by Will Thompson.
Yep, absolutely.
Number 23, Ronnie Brown at left end.
You know, the thing about it and the feeling of this game right now is that Al Borges and his play calling just has this Georgia defense guessing. I mean, they don't know which way they're coming from. He's doing a great job of mixing run and pass, reverse, utilizing Ronnie Brown in a lot of different ways. And he told us yesterday, you know, the key to play calling is not necessarily what you call, it's when you call it. It's having the right feel of when to call plays that have the best chance to be successful. He's on his game today.
3rd and 10. Georgia will bring 4. Campbell steps up, settles for the out man, and that will bring on the field goal unit as Tim Jennings, number 23, makes the stop.
Stop made by number 23, Tim Jennings.
Now look at what they've done in the first half.
It's just unbelievable what they've done. I mean, obviously their total number is really good too. But look at the first half. Only 26 points they've allowed on defense. They've been fast starters on offense. And they're off to a fast start today against a good Georgia defensive football team. Up 14, trying to make it 17.
Let the clock wind down now. 4th and 9.
John Vaughn into attempt a 32-yard.
John Vaughn is 7 of 9 for the year.
He's holding.
Chris Crowfoot snaps it. Vaughn kicks it. Vaughn nails it from 32 yards out. There's a smile from a man who played his college football for the Southern Arkansas University Mule Riders.
Serious about dirt? So are we. Now Yamaha, the adrenaline specialists, has an offer that'll really get you pumping. For a limited time, get any Yamaha for as low as $39 a month, plus up to $200 cash back.
Now time for a series of SEC moments presented by Sonic as we take a look at the Deep South's oldest rivalry that began with an Auburn victory 112 years ago. In 1942, the Tigers upset Georgia, but the Dogs still win the national title. In '59, Fran Tarkenton leads Georgia to a memorable comeback. The Dogs are undefeated in the Herschel Walker era, and Auburn won 3 of 4 behind Bo Jackson. In '96, Uga took a bite out of the Tigers in the SEC's first overtime game. And 2 years ago, David Green's 4th and 15 touchdown pass clinched Georgia's first ever appearance in the SEC title game.
All right, Tracy, thank you. 17-0 here at Jordan-Hare Stadium. This 87,000 seat capacity stadium first opened in 1939 with 7,500 seats. They do love their football here, and they especially love it right now.
Yes, sir.
Yost to kick off. Georgia down by 17. Browning, this one short. Flag is down. Browning is down.
Number 31, Tyson Browning, returns from the 4.
Derek Graves with a tackle. Rocky Good will come over and check on the infraction.
Holden on the run back. Number 42. Penalty's 10 yards from the end of the run. Will be a first down.
Well, 6 hours before kickoff, 8:30 this morning. Uga made his appearance wearing the uniform of Cadillac Williams. What is it about the dog? Fifth penalty on Georgia.
And look at this. Georgia going to the victory formation, taking a knee. Let's make the point again. This is not an average Georgia football team. This is the 8th-ranked team in the country. One loss coming in, totally handled in that first half by Auburn. 123 yards for Auburn in the second quarter, only 13 for Georgia, and therefore the 17-0 lead.
17, Georgia nothing.
Let's go to Tracy, who is with Mark Richt.
Thanks, Vern. Coach, how do you slow down this Auburn team and put some points of your own on the board?
Well, we got to do better offensively. We had some opportunities to put some points on the board and didn't do it. Defense has done good at times, but they're an outstanding offense and did a beautiful job on that little halfback pass. But we got to regroup right now and get after it.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Vern, back to you.
Seniors are gathered on the 50-yard line.
Thank you, Tracy. End of the first half with our score, 17-0 Auburn. Let's go to Tim Brando in our New York studios.
Julie Gall.
We welcome you back to Jordan-Hare, where Auburn leads it as we get set for the start of the third. 17-0. These two teams met for the first time in 1892 in Atlanta. Auburn won that game 10-0. This is current, and this is extraordinary. The 108th meeting. Georgia has scored 1,612 points. Auburn has scored 1,612 points. Here's the kick. This will chase Cadillac Williams back to the back of the end zone. Touchback. And moments ago, Tracy Wilson chatted with Tommy Tuberville.
Coach, what have you been doing that you've been able to keep this Georgia team so off balance?
Well, we run a lot of different coverages and blitzes, trying not to show stuff until right at the end. We know they got a lot of tricks up their sleeve. They've had 20 minutes now to say, okay, they're doing this, let's make some adjustments. So we made some adjustments too. We'll see what happens.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
All right, his team goes on offense. Thank you, Tracy. First down, Jason Campbell. Terrific in the first half, 8 of 10. Very much in control. And they fake the reverse, hand it off up the middle. to Cadillac Williams. Auburn leading 17-0. And I don't know that we had any questions about this team. But, boy, they provided some answers to a lot of folks.
Yeah, everywhere you look. I mean, coming into the game, the second stingiest defense in all of college football. Are they that legitimate? Yes, they are. They gave up some yards in the first quarter, but they kept Georgia off the scoreboard. Offensively, is Jason Campbell really that good? 9 of 12 in that first half. And then Al Borges calling plays. Ronnie Brown touched it 11 times. Carnell 11 times in the first half.
Here's Campbell, fires it out for his tight end, Cooper Wallace. Barrels down the sidelines to the 42, a gain of 23.
Take a look again. These backs take up so much attention, and Al Borges knows that. He knows, hey, they're going to follow Carnell and Ronnie Brown. That's going to leave some people open, and Cooper Wallace has already a couple good catches in the ball game, running free on the bootleg because so much attention paid to Carnell Williams and Ronnie Brown.
11 of 13 for Jason Campbell now. He's hit his last 9. Handoff. Cadillac Williams.
Number 24, Carnell Williams, carries
to the 48-yard line. Now Al Borges trying to get the ball in the hands of both of his outstanding running backs.
Yeah, and I mentioned, you know, it's one thing to just put them on the field together and say, okay, well, I did that. But what Al Borges has done is he has just been able to find ways for them both to be productive. And really the key to it, I think, is Ronnie Brown's versatility. His ability to line up in a lot of different places, catch the ball and run it and block has made that possible.
2nd down and 5. They toss to Williams. Aroma Shadu trying to provide the block. It's another. Auburn first down. DeMario Minter makes the tackle. Now the halftime stats presented by the Hartford. Big edge for Auburn rushing yards.
And most of that in the second quarter. That's when Auburn really got into it. A couple sacks. And the big interception. This was a chance Georgia had to get a touchdown with Reggie Brown, and Carlos Rogers, one of the best cornerbacks in college football, made a big-time play. Also led Auburn's defense with 5 tackles in that first half.
Out of the shotgun. Quentin Moses chases Campbell. He throws it away. That ends the completion string at 9. And it will set up a 2nd down and 10. Jason Campbell, son of a coach. Dad, the head coach at Taylorsville, Mississippi High School, where Jason played. He was telling us yesterday that for the first time in 15 years, the Taylorsville High School team did not make the Mississippi playoffs. They lost to East Marion 21-20, the game that would have gotten them in. Thought maybe his dad would come over early. Nah, he said he's going to go fishing.
Yeah.
But he's here now. 2nd and 10. From the corner, Thomas Davis comes in the blitz. They hand it to the left side. And Cadillac Williams is wrapped up as Greg Blue was there initially. And then David Pollock helped it out.
You know, the thing about David Pollock, who's a little slow getting off the end of this play, but watch him hustle on this play. This is what makes him an All-American. The play goes away from him. He doesn't give up on the play. He keeps chasing, he keeps fighting, and then he ends up getting a tackle. He got hit by Thomas Davis pretty well. But David Pollock, he just never gives up on a play. That's what makes him special, his relentless effort play after play.
Al Borges saying yesterday he goes from the snap to the whistle. Never quits. 3rd and 11. Here's the blitz by Georgia. Campbell steps up, delivers it right side, caught, first down. Courtney Taylor, number 86. In front of Paul Oliver, number 8.
And it starts with protection. Outstanding protection for Jason Campbell. Watch as he's able to just sit back there. It's a 5-man rush, but no white shirts around Jason Campbell. Able to step up in the pocket. And then a lot of room. The redshirt freshman Oliver in coverage on Taylor. And that's easy throw and catch for the senior quarterback.
They pick up the first down at the 28-yard line. Ronnie Brown. Boy, they're weapons. Boy, they are weapons. DeMario Minter.
And the play before that, Ronnie Brown did a great job of protecting the quarterback, picking up the pass rush, helping out on David Pollock. We've seen him catch the ball. We've seen him run the ball.
First down.
I didn't hear what number it ended in.
I think he said Pollock.
Yeah, I thought it ended in a 7.
That's either Greg Blue or David Pollock.
Or Kedrick Golston. He's 97.
You're right.
One of those that ended in a 7. I'm not sure which one.
First down. After the penalty, Williams dances out of one tackle, comes left. Good job of Thomas Davis to string him out. And there is a flag on the play.
This is going to be a holding on Auburn and bring it back. But Ronnie Brown today, they've used him everywhere. He's lined up as a fullback, come out of the backfield and caught the football 7 times as a fullback. Then a wide receiver comes in motion, lines up in the backfield, swings out and catches it again. 6 times in the first half he lined up as a wide receiver. 9 times he lined up like this as a tailback in the first half and runs the football. This is kind of an offset backfield position on a 3rd down pass. He's the primary receiver underneath, converted the first down. His versatility and Al Borges' imagination of using him in a lot of different ways, the secret to the Auburn offense this year.
There was a holding call on Cole Bennett, backup tight end for Auburn. That is the first penalty against the Tigers, so it'll be 1st and goal at the 19. And the backs are split on either side of Jason Campbell. This is Brown who comes out, and this is essentially in the slot. There's the pump. They look deep for Aromashadu. It's intercepted.
Wow. Nice
Tim
play.
Jennings diving catch.
This was a really good idea for Auburn because they faked the screen to Ronnie Brown, knowing that he is really the guy that's garnering a lot of attention. They used him as a decoy. Here's Ronnie Brown. They're going to fake the screen to him as a decoy and try to throw the post, but Tim Jennings is not going to fall for it. He's going to stay in position, read the quarterback, not come up on the screen, and make the play. Excellent work by Tim Jennings.
Second interception in as many weeks for number 23, but for the season, Georgia has only 5. Last time the Tigers were 9-0 was 1994. They were on probation that year, ineligible for a bowl. Went on to win 20 in a row. They're trying to make it 10 in a row and go to a huge bowl this year, as in orange. That's the goal. Here the Georgia Bulldogs. David Green back in a quarterback. Let's go down to Tracy Wolfson. Trace.
Thanks, Vern. Here on the Georgia sidelines alongside the water cooler, you'll find a woman in a baseball cap wearing Georgia gear, dispensing drinks to the players. She tries to remain anonymous, but the secret is out. It's the coach's wife, Catherine Richt. What does Mark Richt think about this? He said it's not often you get to kiss the water girl. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Tracy. Catherine Richt, by the way, is 4-0 as the water girl every road game. Here's Pollock. He's been sacked twice. He goes deep. It's overthrown, and Junior Rose Green is going to get flagged. Absolutely.
Well, one of the strategies for Auburn today coming in was to disrupt Fred Gibson, to upset him, to get him out of his game. 0 catches in the first half. This was a throwaway by David Green, but a little too much extracurricular on the sideline by Junior Rose Green. Fred Gibson has been a non-factor in the game, but that
dead ball,
kind of a foolish
personal
penalty.
Foul. Number 4, defense. The penalty's 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic
David
first
Green
down.
is just trying to avoid the sack. He threw that away, and an unnecessary penalty hit him high in the back of the head, right on the Georgia sideline. They really wanted to disrupt him and get into his head and be physical with him, and they've done that. But that time a little bit late.
See the 5 interceptions in the graphic for Junior Rose Green. 4 of those came in that win at Tennessee. Here's Green, goes to the left side. Reggie Brown. That one's in front of Carlos Rogers.
Brown goes out of bounds.
9:21 to go as Brown goes out of bounds. Gibson has not been a factor.
No catches. They've thrown at him a couple times, but he's not come up with a catch. That's only Reggie Brown's third catch. So they're two big weapons. The two outside receivers, Reggie Brown and Fred Gibson, 3 catches between them so far in the ballgame.
2nd and 1. Pope, the tight end, will readjust, goes to the left side. Thomas Brown, that ought to be good for the first down.
Thomas Brown at left guard.
Well, the only blemish on this season for the Georgia Bulldogs, a then shocking loss at home to Tennessee. They come in tied with Tennessee, but the tiebreaker is that loss. So if they are to get back to the SEC championship game, they need help. They've got to win today, and then they've got to have Tennessee to lose to either Vanderbilt or Kentucky. I don't like the odds.
No. One of the real problems for Georgia in that game against Tennessee, their inability to run. Only 56 yards rushing against that volunteer defense. Having some trouble running against this Auburn defense today as well.
Here's 3rd and 1. They try to test to the left side, and Thomas Brown around the corner inside the 40. Will Herring makes the tackle. It's a gain of 17.
Well, this is one where you gang up around the line of scrimmage on short yardage, trying to stop the 1-yard run. And if you get past the initial line, there's no other defenders. Everybody's too close to the line of scrimmage, and that's exactly what Thomas Brown did. He got a good block on the outside from Martrez Milner, the tight end, and Leonard Pope, and able to turn the corner for a big gain.
1st down and 10. 17-0. Here's Green with a play fake. Goes for Brown. Little high. And incomplete. Well, that Tennessee game was a game of missed opportunities. They had just come off a thrashing of LSU at home. Remember this kickoff return? Most memorable by the holding penalty that was called on Leonard Pope. It wiped out what would have been a 1st and goal. Then Andy Bailey pulled one left from 29. And a failed fake punt attempt on 4th down as Joe Tarashinsky was caught short. They lost it 19-14. There's the draw play. Brown bounces back to his right. Will be tackled at the 30. It'll be 3rd down.
Number 20.
Karebi Dede.
You talk about missed opportunities, and you so astutely pointed out in the first half, the missed opportunities just important in this kind of a game, in this intensity. Georgia, 2 excellent opportunities to score points in that first half. A missed field goal and the interception by David Green. Therefore, nothing on the board right now. For David Green, a big 3rd down and 7. He started out 6 for 6. He's only hit 2 of his last 7 passes.
He's got Brown in the backfield with Thomas. Gibson and Bailey are wide to the left. Reggie Brown is wide right. Auburn brings 4. Flag is down. Green drills it. Dropped. Gibson.
Fred Gibson. Lack of focus. Good throw. This might be offsides on Auburn. Lining up offsides.
Offsides. Defense. Number 96. Penalty is 5 yards. Repeat. 3rd down.
Wayne Dickens is the man who was caught lining up offside.
Well, he's inside, number 96. There he is right there, close to the ball. His head is across the neutral zone. He didn't jump. He just lined up offside. And a little bit of a gift for Georgia after that drop pass.
Now see if they can take advantage. It's 3rd and 1. Bulldogs trail by 17, largest deficit for them this year. It's a very long 1 yard. Play fake, Green. Reggie Brown. Popped by Junior Rose Green. He's down. The ball is out.
They're calling this a fumble.
They sure are. Reggie Brown is still down.
It was Junior Rose Green again. He had the penalty earlier. This was a clean hit.
Green's pass was complete to number 1, Reggie Brown, who fumbled.
Reggie Brown remains still.
To skinny post, which Georgia loves to throw, and it's a high helmet-to-helmet hit. Rose Green on Reggie Brown.
Oh, mercy.
Wow.
A sudden stillness envelops Jordan-Hare. Time called. We're back at Jordan-Hare, where Reggie Brown, the wide receiver, remains quietly at the 10-yard line. Let's go down to Tracy Wolfson.
Thanks, Vern. Obviously a scary moment. He is moving. That is the good news. The Auburn team, they huddled up. They said a prayer. I'll give you more information as soon as I get it. Back to you.
Okay, Tracy, thank you. That is indeed good news, because he's encircled by the medical staff, training staff, so we couldn't see from here that Reggie Brown was moving. It was a helmet-to-helmet hit, Junior Rose Green and Reggie Brown. There's the collision.
Well, they're taking the stretcher back off the field, and that's very good to see.
That's even better news.
Yeah. There he is sitting up, helmet off.
You see his Georgia teammates were also kneeling in prayer during the timeout. And looks of concern on just about everybody here.
Yeah, this is one of those moments where it doesn't matter what color sweatshirt or hat you're wearing. I mean, you are everybody involved in wishing the best for Reggie Brown right now.
Reggie Brown is up.
Reggie Brown, one of the best athletes on this Georgia football team, one of the strongest on the team, pound for pound. Took a tremendous shot that time from Junior Rose Green, but able to walk off the field.
That's the best news of the ball game. And back to the play itself, it was ruled a catch, a possession after the hit, a fumble. So Auburn has the ball, first down and 10 at the 16. As soon as we can, we'll get an update from Tracy. First down and 10. Cadillac Williams to the 21-yard line. Thomas Davis with the tackle.
You know, and you hate to lump this in with the other situations, but that's got to be considered a bit of a missed opportunity for Georgia again, because they were in scoring territory. They were in position to maybe put some points on the board, breathe some life into their offense, and the turnover gives the ball back to Auburn.
Reggie Brown on the sideline. Williams and Brown, you see the numbers, 13 and 8. Those are carries. And here's Jason Campbell, play fake. Little flip out to the left. Good block. And out to the 30-yard line, a first down for Ronnie Brown.
See, the key thing about this is it's a pass, but it's really not. It's really a run. It's really a way to get a running back the football out in space with a lead blocker out there, in this case Ben Grubbs, number 69, and a receiver blocking also, and then let him run against defensive backs. That's all that is. It's a running play that you flip out to him on the perimeter and let him do his thing.
110 rushing yards. I remember you telling us last night at the production meeting, you thought 125 yards on the ground would be a good total for either of these teams.
Yeah, I really did.
Here's Cadillac Williams.
Added on to it right there by Carnell. And both of these defenses play good run defense, but the balance in this Auburn offense right now is putting the pressure on the Georgia defense. I mean, they've had them guessing since the opening offensive possession. Good play calling, good execution, and good versatility and use of both Carnell Williams and Ronnie Brown.
And a gain of 14 on that play. It's first down and 10 at the 44. And again, the split backs. I beg your pardon, in the eye. Now they're essentially split. It's Williams who comes out wide to the left. They toss it to Brown.
Number 23, Ronnie Brown.
Well, we broke it down when both men rush for more than 50 yards. Auburn undefeated. When neither does, they're an immodest 2-5. And today, 74-40.
But Ronnie Brown has been the go-to guy in the passing game today for Auburn. He's made a lot of big catches out of the backfield from a slot receiver position. 5 receptions for 69 more yards today for Ronnie Brown.
And he's the deep back now with Jake Slaughter in the fullback position on second down. Campbell gives it off to Ronnie Brown. Quick opener, huge gain, flag is down. I believe this one's coming back.
I think they're going to get the center, Jeremy Engel, for a hold.
Stop made by Thomas Davis.
Stop the bleeding a little bit for the Georgia defense.
67 offense. Penalties, 10 yards from the previous spot.
That is the center, Jeremy
Engel. Down.
And while they march off the penalty, let's go back to Tim Brando in New York.
That other unbeaten out of the Big Ten, Wisconsin. Winning kick of the second half. They got an onside kick, did Michigan State. So John L. Smith pulling a rabbit out of his hat. And then J.U. Colquitt takes it in from a yard out. Remember, Michigan State had a big lead against Michigan and could not hold on. We'll see what happens.
17-0 here, Tim. And it's second down after the penalty. Georgia total yards 121 in the first quarter and less than 60 since then. And you see it's been the opposite for Auburn.
Good screen situation right here for Auburn.
There you have it. Ronnie Brown makes the catch.
Stop by number 46,
well,
Arnold Harris.
Bowl championship series, the top 5 teams this week: Oklahoma, Southern Cal, Auburn, California, and the Badgers of Wisconsin.
4-yard gain. 3rd and 12 at the 41.
3rd and 13. Tommy Tuberville started out his coaching career at Hermitage High School in Arkansas. Became a volunteer for Larry Lacewell at Arkansas State. Talked his way onto Jimmy Johnson's staff at Miami. Then went to Ole Miss after a year at A&M and was in his prime here. There's a pass out to Carnell Williams, number 24. Well, I think we all remember November 20th a year ago. This team, Auburn team, lost its first 2 games last year, USC and Georgia Tech. Tommy Tuberville said yesterday that the president, Dr. William Walker, decided after that second game to run him out of town, as he said. It was on November 20th, an ill-fated plane ride on Bobby Louder, a trustee's plane. William Walker, the president, David Housel, the AD, 2 members of the trustees, went in the thick of the night to Louisville to talk to Bobby Petrino and to offer him the Auburn job. This was after the loss to Georgia a week ago. When word of that trip got out, here's the punt and the tackle. Tommy Tuberville said he had 15,000 emails and messages. He's kept a lot of them, hasn't read them all, but 99% of them expressed their disturbance at the plane ride, their belief that he ought to be retained as coach. He won.
The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by Red Lobster, the Hartford Mutual Funds, IBM, and by Pontiac.
Back at Jordan-Hare, frightening moment when Ronnie Brown was, I beg your pardon, Reggie Brown was injured. Let's go down to Tracy Wolfson for an update.
Thanks, Vern. An update on Reggie Brown. He is diagnosed with a concussion. He is out for the game. They put a neck brace on him. Right now, he just headed to the tunnel. They put him on a stretcher, and they're putting him in an ambulance. As soon as I get more information, I will bring it to you guys.
Thank you, Tracy.
Well, that looks so much worse.
Yeah, it sure did. It was frightening. There's the handoff up the middle.
Number 20.
Thomas Brown, number 20. Will Herring makes the tackle. Missed field goal to open the game. And look at what happened to the Georgia Bulldogs since then.
Yeah, not a lot of production. And then, this one here and this one here, they were actually in scoring territory and came away with nothing. And now the pressure falls more on Fred Gibson. He's not in the game right now, but no catches today with his running mate Reggie Brown out of the game. Gibson must step up if Georgia hopes to have a chance here.
McClendon is in. Here's the handoff. Nope. Nothing doing.
Junior Rosegreen on a safety blitz, timed it perfectly and blew the play up in the backfield. That was a run blitz all the way, anticipating the run for the first down. And Junior Rosegreen, one of the real leaders emotionally and physically on this Auburn defense. A play behind the line of scrimmage.
Rosegreen's father, Ansel, was here from home near the Fort Lauderdale area. Saw his son play against Arkansas the first time. He's not here for this one. He's watching on television. But Junior's brother Warren is here. Ran into him at the athletic complex yesterday. Third down. Green fires it out short and behind the intended receiver, Jeremy Thomas. Fourth down.
Number 41, Jeremy Thomas. 4th and 3 and 19.
Well, this Georgia offense improved dramatically since they lost at home to Tennessee. But the quality of opposition, perhaps a little suspect.
Yeah, well, there you have it right there, where those teams that were ranked defensively. A big part of that was the tight end Leonard Pope and his emergence in those last 4 weeks. And he was double covered on that third down play.
Gordon Ely Kelso to punt on fourth down. Cadillac Williams at the 36. Brian Jordan snaps it back. Nice and high. This is a good one. Jordan is the lead man down. Cadillac Williams comes to his left, looks for blocking help. Gets it. Cuts back inside. He's run the ball well. He's thrown for a touchdown, and he just returned this one 42 yards.
And again, he's not your typical punt returner. He's a running back who's used to breaking tackles. And if you don't use good technique in trying to tackle this guy, you're not going to get him on the ground. 4 missed tackles, an extraordinary effort by Carnell Williams.
52-yard punt, 42 on the return. His second in excess of 25 yards tonight. Ronnie Brown bursts over right tackle and chugs it down to the 26-yard line. Well, Auburn, they played football since 1892. They have been 9-0 5 times previously. In 94, they tied Georgia, lost to Alabama. 93 went 11-0, but they were ineligible probation. In 71, finished 9-2. They were the SEC and the national champs in the AP poll in 1957. And in 32, I don't remember this, they tied South Carolina. Handoff. That could be a first down. Well, next week, our little traveling entourage moves over to Tuscaloosa next Saturday, 3:30 Eastern Time for the Iron Bowl. Alabama under Mike Shula, bowl eligible this year. Big game at LSU tonight. No matter what happens here, Alabama-Auburn will be a little fun to watch. But there is a very good chance right now that Auburn's going to roll into Tuscaloosa undefeated. Ronnie Brown.
You know, that game, Alabama-Auburn, such a bitter, intense rivalry. Two schools in the same state. This is a great rivalry, too, the oldest rivalry in the South. But this game is different because 31 Auburn players are from the state of Georgia. And for a guy like Ronnie Brown, who's from Cartersville, Georgia, this game is more important to him than the Alabama game. For the fans, it's Alabama. For a good number of these Auburn players, it's the Georgia game that's the biggest.
And that's the end of the third quarter. Auburn.
We have reached the end of 3 at Jordan-Hare in the loveliest village on the plain. A little encouragement for David Pollock. The Bulldogs need a resurgence. We'll return right after these messages and this word from your local station. Jason Campbell, redshirt senior from a 4-hour drive west of here, Taylorsville, Mississippi. 15 of 19 in this ball game for 156 yards. He's had a little help from guys named Brown and Williams.
Yeah. But he's managed things so beautifully for this offense all season long.
Here's Campbell's run. Tommy Tuberville telling us yesterday he hoped to run him 8 times. That's the second of significance as we begin the fourth quarter. Vern Lundquist, Todd Blackledge, along with Tracy Wolfson. I'm old enough to remember James Brooks and Joe Cribbs, two great running backs at Auburn. Brown and Williams in that category.
I think so, and they're so versatile. I mean, you know, Auburn didn't throw the football that much back when those guys played. Very versatile offense this year with Jason Campbell, and these two guys have combined running it for over 125 yards together, catching it real well. Of course, Carnell Williams, a couple big punt returns. He's thrown a touchdown pass. These two guys, so dangerous in so many ways.
3rd and 5. There's Brown. There's a touchdown. There's another one.
On cue, Reggie. And again, it was Thomas Davis, the aggressive safety, who was victimized coming up on the run fake. And Ronnie Brown ran right by him to the end zone.
Campbell is 16 of 20. John Vaughn with the extra point.
It's good, and it's Auburn 24, Georgia nothing, with 14 minutes. 13
Initially committed to the University of Tennessee, said he did grow up a Georgia fan, loved watching Garrison Hurst. He ultimately opted for Auburn, and he came back for this kind of season. Time called. Tuberville's team leads by 24. .13 to go, fourth quarter. Auburn leading 24-0, trying to go 10-0. I think, as they say, the guys are feeling it.
Yeah, I think so. Again, Ronnie Brown, one of the Georgia kids on this team. This game's so important to him. They've lost the last 2 years in a row to Georgia.
There was a penalty on the extra point, a personal foul, so this one goes into the stands. Let's take another look at this Campbell to Brown touchdown toss.
Now here's Ronnie Brown, and here's Thomas Davis. Now watch as Brown comes out. Davis is going to come up. Brown's going to go right by him for the end zone. Again, the aggressiveness of Thomas Davis. He gets out of position. Brown runs by him with a little bit of a hesitation, and then a beautiful throw by Jason Campbell right over the outside shoulder. And again, the soft hands of Reggie Brown. Reggie Brown, or Ronnie Brown, the leading receiver for Auburn in the game. 7 catches, 88 yards, and a touchdown. Carnell Williams, the leading rusher in the game. 15 carries, 80 yards. Those two guys, dynamic football players.
DJ Shockley on in relief of David Green. First appearance in this half. Here's Shockley with a play fake. Goes right. Max Gene Gillets provides the block. And I'm not sure where that was intended, but it wound up in the breadbasket of Mayo Sorrell. Which NFL game is in your area? And Keeney Jeff Sluman tied with Steve Flesh and Justin Leonard as they go into the final round. The host is on the board too there in 3rd place. 2nd down. Shockley out of the gun. Lobs it short. Brown gang tackled at the 25-yard line.
You know, one thing I think that's important to say, and the point to make about this Auburn football team, and all championship level teams, I think this is the case, they get better as the season goes along. When we watched LSU down the stretch last year, they were better in November than they were in September. And I think that's the same way with this Auburn team. They beat LSU early in the year, but it was not a real convincing win. A 1-point win. There was some controversy in the game. They went to Tennessee and won a big game, but the turnover's a big story of that.
Look at that. 1963. Last time Auburn shut out Georgia. Vince Dooley, the retired athletic director, was an assistant coach. Here's Shockley, and he's hauled down from behind by Quentin Groves. number 54, but he did pick up 12 and got a first down.
Quinn Rose on the stop.
DJ Shockley hoping to give a little bit of a spark to this Georgia offense, and he can do this. He can run. I mean, they had good pressure in the backfield, but his speed and quickness able to get him outside and turn it into a first down.
First and 10, under 13 to go. 24-0. Here's Brown. We have not seen Danny Ware tonight. Danny Ware, the other freshman running back, with a knee and ankle injury in the win over Kentucky last week. But Thomas Brown was going to start this game regardless because Danny Ware had problems with fumbles in the last couple of games. And there's Danny Ware. It was a game time decision whether or not he would go. We were told he was available.
Yeah.
And he's had a terrific season.
And he looked okay in warm-ups. I mean, they didn't pull him out of warm-ups right before the game, but Thomas Brown, they've decided to go the whole way with him.
2nd and 5. Shockley in the spread. Handoff. Wow.
He went right under Doug Langenfeld on that one. I mean, Doug Langenfeld was unblocked, and Thomas Brown just went right under him at 5'8". He became about 5'5" and went under Langenfeld. Watch this. Watch Langenfeld, number 98. He's going to come clean, unblocked, and then bloop, right under his arm. Thomas Brown shrunk about 4 inches and gained some yards.
3rd and 1. This Georgia team playing without the services of Reggie Brown after that helmet-to-helmet hit in the 3rd quarter of play. Here's Brown coming left. And let's get more on Reggie Brown's status. Here's Tracy Wolfson.
Thanks, Vern. Just a bit more information on Reggie Brown. We saw him leave by ambulance. Georgia trainers told us he went to the hospital for x-rays. They would not tell us exactly what they were looking at, though. Of course, if we get any more information, we will have it for you.
All right, Tracy, thank you. The best news, I think, was seeing him walk off unaided. Rush defense, Auburn. And the tackle made at the 47-yard line by Dede, number 21.
And at this point, the Auburn defense very happy to let Georgia run the football some because the clock is certainly on their favor now with the 24-0 lead. The more Georgia runs, the more time runs off that clock. And so they'll sacrifice a few rushing yards at this point for seconds and minutes off the clock.
10:35 to go. 2nd down, 8. Blitz is threatened. Here comes Junior Rosegreen. Shockley under some pressure. Fires it too high for Sean Bailey. Number 4, incomplete.
Sean Bailey, incomplete.
Now let's check this week's Scholar Athlete presented by Red Lobster. Sophomore defensive back Will Herring. Sophomore with a 3.2 GPA in exercise science. A COSIDA academic all-district 4 recipient from nearby Opelika. Red Lobster's commitment to the investment of our future shown today by donating $1,000 to Auburn's General Scholarship Fund. Tony Milton is in now. The seldom used running back. He was injured most of last year. He's played 4 games this year. Shockley play fake. Rolling right. In jail. Carlos Rogers never bought the fake.
And that was a designed run. There were no receivers going out on pass routes on that 3rd down and 8. That was a designed quarterback keeper that did nothing at all to affect the Auburn defense. They're going to play fake to Milton and come out this way with Shockley, but nobody gave up on the play on Auburn. Carlos Rogers is having an outstanding ball game, both defending the pass and defending the run.
He's another of those Georgians. Carlos Rogers is from Augusta and says no, he has no interest in golf. Unlike Steve Spurrier. 4th down. Who loves golf? Here's the high punt, Ely Kelso, and a fair catch called by Cadillac Williams at the 11. There's a flag back at the line of scrimmage.
You know, I want to go back and add a little bit to a point I made earlier about this Auburn team getting better as the season has gone on. The most impressive win prior to today, if this holds out, was when they went to Knoxville and they beat Tennessee handily, who they may end up facing in the SEC championship game in a rematch on December 4th. But there were 6 turnovers by Tennessee, and a lot of the thought was, well, if they don't turn it over, it's not that kind of game. Today, this has been a dominating Auburn team and an impressive game against a good Georgia team.
Now, it's time for the Block of the Day, presented by Earthlink.
I chose a little different play for the Earthlink Block of the Day. It was last week's Thomas Flowers 74-yard punt return. The reason I chose it, some outstanding blocking by 2 wide receivers playing on special team, Reggie Brown and Sean Bailey. Both of those guys got in position, made excellent blocks, and that enabled Thomas Flowers to turn that punt return into a 74-yard gain. The Earthlink Block of the Day, Reggie Brown and Sean Bailey of Georgia.
In the center of your screen, David and Susan Housel. David Housel graduated from Auburn in 1969. He will retire as athletic director at the end of this season, having given 34 years of his life to this university. He said Thursday night in a testimonial dinner, the first 33 and a half years were sensational. The last 6 months has been sheer hell. David Housel was aboard the plane that went at William Walker's insistence to visit with Bobby Petrino. He said if it's one thing in his life he could do over, it would be not to get aboard that plane. He took a bullet. He tried to talk the ex-president of this university out of that trip. Dr. Walker said, "You will come with me." David Housel is one of the best men I know in college athletics. Here's the first down. And it's going to be stopped. I'll tell you, at the testimonial dinner the other night, there probably were 400 people, including Mike Slive, the commissioner, Roy Kramer, the former commissioner of the SEC. Larry Templeton of Mississippi State spoke for David Housel. They introduced 9 athletic directors who stood as sentinels in respect to him, among them Frank Broyles of Arkansas, Vince Dooley of Georgia, Joe Dean of LSU. It was a most impressive tribute. He's a good man. 2nd and 8.
I think at some point, if you're Tommy Tuberville and Al Borges now, you think about getting Carnell Williams and Ronnie Brown out of the football game. Another good run by Carnell. But with 8:25 left and a 24-0 lead, you may want to rest him.
Now let's go back and spend another moment with Tim Brando in New York.
It's not going as well for one of those other 6 unbeatens going into today. Drew Stanton wasn't supposed to play, had that shoulder problem. Here to Matt Trannon, 31 yards. If this score holds, Michigan would have the inside track for the Rose Bowl. Big doings in the Big Ten, fellas.
Boy. My goodness. Been an intriguing season, hasn't it?
Wisconsin looked like one of those teams that was getting better as the season went along as well, until they headed up to East Lansing.
Here's Campbell, right side. Aroma with the catch. Well, we went into this afternoon. Here were the BCS standings. Southern Cal, Oklahoma, Auburn, all undefeated. California was number 4. Wisconsin at 5. Texas just did hang on today. They came from behind to defeat Kansas team. Georgia was 8th.
USC, you mentioned earlier, the toughest road belonging to Auburn. This is their test today against Georgia. USC will play Arizona tonight. Oklahoma, a 4-touchdown favorite over Nebraska today. I mean, things have changed in that little rivalry as well.
First down and 10, 7:20 to go. Cadillac Williams, David Pollock. Well,
Carnell Williams at left end.
USC and Oklahoma have stayed 1 and 2 for most of the season in the human polls.
Play loss, 1 yard.
Neither of us vote in the AP poll, but it'll be interesting to see whether this is an impressive enough victory by Auburn against a good Georgia team, if that will vault them over Oklahoma, an Oklahoma team that has won on the road in the last 2 weeks, but had to come from behind to do so.
I don't think it will. I don't think if those two teams continue to win that the human polls will change. I mean, if all three of those teams finish undefeated, I don't think there'll be a change.
Number 23,
now,
Ronnie Brown.
That doesn't mean it's right, because I think if Auburn wins out, if they win next week in Tuscaloosa, if they win the SEC championship game and finish undefeated in this league, then I think they deserve to play for the national championship in the Orange Bowl. Whether or not that'll happen, that's another story. But I think this is the best league in college football, and to go undefeated in this league and to beat a team twice, as they'd have to do in the SEC championship game, and still be undefeated, the most impressive run of any school in the country.
3rd and 7. 3 men down for Georgia. And we've got some motion.
We talk about what Auburn has left. What do those other two teams have left? USC again, Arizona tonight. Notre Dame, who we saw last week, goes out to LA to play them. And then they finish with their in-state rivalry, UCLA.
Number 68, penalties 5 yards, 3rd down.
Oklahoma has Nebraska today, Baylor, and then the Big 12 championship game. So again, this run for Auburn, the most difficult stretch over the last 3 weeks.
Do you think if they do complete the run, and this is hypothetical obviously, that would affect the computer to the extent that it would vault them to the number 2 position? See how deep you go into this BCS stuff.
I don't go very deep. I love covering college football games. I don't like messing with all that stuff too much.
Here's Aroma Shadu, tackled by Demario Minter.
Complete to Aroma Shadu. Stopped by number 2, Demario.
Well, let's check the CBS Sports Line stat of the game. Yeah, it's an upscale Cadillac. 89 yards on the ground, 20 yards receiving, 77 yards on punt returns, 1-for-1 passing, just your average total of 215. Get complete game stats at CBSSportsline.com.
I think he's got to be the Escalade, because I don't think just the sheer Cadillac is enough. I mean, because he's got the power to go with it. These two backs are outstanding.
4th down, poor punt. Takes an Auburn roll. And Thomas Flowers is going to be tackled by Ratliff at the 40-yard line.
Ratliff on the stop.
42-yard punt, 19 on the return. Cadillac Williams and the 17 other seniors playing their final game at home.
State.
87,541 here, most of whom are clad in blue and orange. As the Auburn Tigers try to go 10-0, they're up 24-zip with 4:42 to go. You got to like their chances. Shovel pass. Thomas Brown. He's loose. He's down at the 43-yard line. And that allows us a moment to go back to Tim Brando in New York.
You guys were talking about Notre Dame. Well, today the Irish in a track meet, Josh Cummings beats Notre Dame with his 32-yarder. Panthers' Tyler Palko, the first player in 1,105 games to throw for 5 touchdown passes versus Notre Dame.
Oh, goodness. Here's Green. Bailey, flag is down. Sean Bailey tackled at the 24. Georgia trying to get on the board and avoid the first shutout to this team in 41 years. That's a gain of 17. Let's see what the nature of the flag was.
Offsides. Defense, number 75. Penalties declined.
Tonight on CBS begins with an all-star Dallas reunion return to South Fork, starring Larry Hagman, Linda Gray, Patrick Duffick, and Victoria Principal, followed by a new 48 Hours Mystery. Tonight on CBS, America's most watched network.
Now, will Nancy get a residual for that?
Well, if this is the episode marked Barbecue 2.
Oh, only when her episode.
Oh, yeah. And you hear her say, Mr. Ewing, the press will see you now. That means another 98 cents in the Lundquist bank account. It's a much anticipated check every year. Slightly more than the Happy Gilmore residual.
You can buy a lot of turkey tetrazzini with that.
Rent a lot of movies. Rushing yards, Auburn 111 in the last 2.5 quarters. 2nd down and 7. Well, movement Well, to a man, the Auburn Tigers with whom we spoke and talked about the LSU game as being pivotal. It was back in September. Courtney Taylor scored as Jason Campbell passed it to score the tie at 9. The extra point sailed wide, but a penalty was called against LSU's Ronnie Prude. Auburn had a second chance. Watch the hold here. Sam Reeves, maybe one of the plays of the season. Reached down, held it. The extra point from John Pond was good, and LSU fell 10-9. Here's the pass underneath, and that's at the 18. Now, Sam Reeves, to me, just exemplifies college football. He's from Pelham, Alabama. He's a redshirt senior. He redshirted his first year, 2 years on the scout team, 1 game going into this year. He played as a holder against Louisiana Monroe. He has, number 5 is the 9th different jersey number he's worn. And he's going to let her, by gosh, this year, and he has earned it. Here's Green. Bailey. First down at the 11.
Sean Bailey. Stop made by number 19, Montavis Pitts.
Here's Mark Richt on the sideline.
First down.
4th season. David Green, David Pollock complete their careers this year. This is their last road trip. David Green and his teammates are 15-1 on the road under his leadership. Here's Green in the corner. Gibson leaps incomplete.
Had a chance, just didn't time his jump very well. Working against Carlos Rogers. The two of them are friends. Hang out together in Atlanta some in the summer. They met as freshmen, and he just didn't time his jump. He jumped too early. You know, he's got the great leaping ability, the former basketball player. If he just held on a half a second, he'd have jumped up and caught that one in front of Carlos. Tommy Tuberville applauding the incompletion.
Last time they were shut out is 1995. The last shutout, as we told you earlier, to this Auburn team. And that one is incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 10. David Green from Snellville. His dad, Rick, a graduate of Auburn. His sister, Leslie, a graduate of Auburn. His grandmother lived in Columbus, Georgia, not that far away. But he said he always wanted to go to Georgia. There's Mom and Dad, Rick and Kay. Long, long afternoon. 3rd and 10. It'll be 4th down.
One of the things I think that's kind of gotten lost in the anticipation and buildup of this game. It's obviously a rivalry game. There's obviously a lot on the line for both teams and national championship things for Auburn. But the other thing these guys talked about last year when these teams played in Athens, Georgia took Auburn behind the woodshed and beat them. They outmanned them. They out-physicaled them on both sides of the ball. A complete reversal this time around in Auburn.
4th down to try and get on the board. Auburn has not lost since that 26-7 defeat in Athens a year ago. Here's Green back, throws it, flag is down. It's a touchdown for Pope. The ball crossed the plane, but there is a flag.
There is a flag.
Offsides. 54. Defense. Score.
Quentin Groves, a young defensive end. I think he lined up offsides. That's the second time that's happened to Auburn. And Leonard Pope with his 6th touchdown catch in the last 5 weeks. And for Pope, his first catch, here's Pope right here, his first catch since the first quarter. I think Groves lined up offsides. He didn't jump. I think he lined up offsides. And Pope able to get the ball in the end zone.
Bulldogs will go for 2. They've got 3 wide, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Here's Green back. Comes near side, it's incomplete. Intended for Gibson.
Carlos Rogers again.
Gartrell, rather.
He talked about this game being a game that he could make some money because there's going to be a lot of NFL scouts watching this matchup. And he has more than held his own in this football game.
Georgia's touchdown drive.
He has made himself some money today, I'll guarantee you.
Tommy Tuberville still coaching. His team leads it 24-6. Him on the phone all Wednesday, he said this is a very pivotal game for the Bulldogs. if we can win, we have a chance to be regarded as one of the better teams in Georgia history. If we lose, we'll probably be regarded as just a pretty good Georgia team. David Pollock, David Green, teammates, best friends since they were 6 years of age, roommates, polar opposites in personality, but boy, do they complement one another. And they're about to lose on the road for only the second time in their careers. Coming up next, the TIAA Kraft College Football Today program. 18-point margin in this, the 108th meeting. And you know what? The two teams' point differential now, it's back to 1 in 107, 108 meetings. Here's the onside attempt. And the all-hands people are there. Ben Obamanu, number 2.
Taken by number 2, Ben Obamanu.
They played here 1892. Had played in Atlanta. Look at this, 108 meetings. Auburn has a huge edge in point accumulation. The edge is 1.
First and 10, Auburn.
That's up to date.
Well, it looks like that other trend is going to be put on hold for a while, of the visiting team having the edge in this series. Georgia won at home last year in Athens, and looks like Auburn's going to take care of business on their home turf this year.
Carnell Williams still in the game. A little surprised?
I am a little surprised, just because of how good and rugged that Alabama defense is that they're going to face next week.
Here's Williams to the 40-yard line on first down, nearing the 2-minute mark of this game.
But Auburn did have the week off, and I think that you can see that it really paid off for them. Georgia, their 7th straight game. Auburn went 9 straight before having the week off last week, and took full advantage of it. Very fresh-looking football team today.
I just saw a roll of toilet paper come out of the upper deck over on the right side. One of the traditions here is that they roll Toomer's Corner, the intersection of College and Magnolia. They toilet paper it. They're going to have to get an extra truckload of Charmin in here for tonight. Here's Williams down at the 40-yard line. Earlier, Toomer's Corner, Toomer's Drugstore, Fine Lemonade. That is the focal point of a lot of activity in this loveliest village on the plain. And it will be a focal point probably until about 4 a.m. when this one goes in the record books. We got 1:25 to go. Just a moment ago, Cadillac Williams comes to the near side. And the warmth of the reception was palpable.
Yeah. And he and Ronnie Brown. I mean, Ronnie Brown, the first guy to meet him coming off. And well, you just have to admire the two of them, their decision, first of all, to come back for their senior seasons, and then beyond that, their ability to work together and share the load. Because of that, neither one will win the Heisman. Neither one will probably win the Doak Walker or for the best running back in the country. But their football team may win the national championship because of it.
Carl Stewart gets the handoff. Ronnie Brown has carried 12 times for 50 yards, and Cadillac Williams for the 15th time in his brilliant career in excess of 100 yards on the ground. He's got 101. And you see Ronnie Brown complements that with 51.
But Ronnie Brown was the leading receiver for the Auburn team today, too. So, I mean, they complement each other so well. They're both going to be outstanding NFL football players. They are fun to watch.
Yes, indeed. Largest margin of victory over Georgia, 14 years. There's the handoff to Stewart. Next up for this Auburn Tiger team, they will travel to Tuscaloosa. 10-0. In the hunt. All of their dreams remain possibilities. The SEC championship, a berth in the title game, and indeed a national championship. It's still there.
That's the end of the ball game. The final score: the Auburn Tigers
24-6, a dominating performance by the Auburn Tigers.
Today's game and your support throughout the season. We remind you the Tigers are on the road against Alabama.
This loveliest village on the plain is erupting with noise. We'll have more from Auburn when we come back to Jordan-Hare Stadium right after this. (24-6) the final. Auburn wins it. We go down to Tracy Wolfson.
Thanks, Vern. I'm here with the running back duo, 2 stars of the game, Ronnie Brown and Carnell Williams. Guys, your final home game here, a dominating performance over rival Georgia. Does it get any better than this?
Not at all. This is how I pictured it. 10-0, can't complain. Great to be a senior.
Did you guys make a statement to the pollsters and the voters today?
No doubt. I feel like the polls, they're going to have to fill up. You know, we came out and beat one of the best teams. They say going to beat us, so, hey, it's going down. We ready to jump somebody. I ain't calling no names, though.
What does this say about your team?
We for real. We for real.
How did you guys get it done?
Everybody just played together like all year, taking it game by game, play by play, and we just our fields going to outman them this year.
Being from Georgia, how great does it feel to beat them?
It's great. I can't wait to go home now.
Well, let's talk to Coach Tommy Tuberville. Are you just in awe of what transpired today?
Well, you know, we've been practicing well all year, and this was one of the special weeks. You know, our seniors have been great to us. It's been emotional all week. This is their last home game. Been a special team. Got a good football team. I'm really proud of the defense, how we played tonight.
What does this say about your squad?
We got a heck of a football team. We got a lot of work to do, but this is one more step closer. I'm going to start doing some politicking now, I guess.
Well, thanks a lot, Coach. Finally, is this a statement game for you guys?
Well, I hope it is, but we got a big one next week.
Thanks a lot. Good luck. Vern, back to you.
All right, Tracy, thank you. I think it's significant that of the 18 seniors, 10 have graduated. Players of the game, the ballpark, Franks. Players of the game, Cadillac Williams. 20 rushes, 101 yards. He also threw a 29-yard touchdown pass. And his partner, Ronnie Brown, 7 receptions for 88 yards. He also ran 12 times for 51 yards. Those two are pretty good.
Yeah. Jason Campbell, I think, is the most improved football player in the country. Those two guys are special. 2 of the best in all of college football.
Time now for the 5-star Wrangler play of the game, and for the description, here's Rod Bramlett of the Auburn Radio Network.
Taylor comes in motion now, 3-receiver bunch set. And he'll toss it to Carnell Williams. Wants to throw, and he does. Wide open, mix at the 10 to the 5. Touchdown! Oh, my goodness! Oh, my goodness!
Cadillac Williams, first touchdown throw of his career. That helped Auburn to a 24-6 victory over Georgia. We're going to take this entourage over to Tuscaloosa for next week. For Tracy Wolfson, Todd Blackledge, and his son Harrison, who's been our guest this week. We'll see you next week. Tim Brando back in New York with more of the postgame show right after this.
Introducing New Edge Advanced.
You just saw Auburn with a statement against Georgia, 24-6. Now you look at the BCS standings. The problem here for Auburn is the very thing that helped elevate LSU past USC into the 2-hole last year was the computer strength. Now with the tweaking, that's been taken away. I really believe they're still fighting a losing battle and getting to the number 2 position.
Well, I think you make a very valid point because you're talking about a 66% point differential. Last year, that component comprised more. Now everything is equal 1/3. So Auburn has to come up big time in the subjective component's mind. That's be the writers, of course, and the coaches.
Now we know that Oklahoma wants to just absolutely hammer Nebraska tonight, and that's the problem here. We're running up scores again. The tweaking just did what they didn't want to do.
I've got to ask whether or not, I mean, again, granted, folks, it was complete domination by Auburn today over Georgia, but did they score enough in the coach's mind and in the writer's mind? So we know what Oklahoma's thinking tonight against Nebraska. We got to blow them out.
By the way, I've got a dream sequence for you, all right? Tommy Tuberville, after that plane trip made by the president, the trustee, and the athletic director, this year he hoists the BCS crystal, and then he goes into the president's office and says, sayonara. I am out of here. I'm going to Miami. I'm going to take Dave Wanstead's job.
Poetic justice, and it would be the same thing that Ron Zook did that was done to him by Steve Spurrier. Yeah. He left pretty much a senior team, a lot of offensive power here on this team for Auburn. They would be empty next year if he does that.
Tommy likes to move.